Hello everybody, what's up? Sir Spookfest here. So, I figured I'd read another story out of Creepy USA Ghost to Ghost. So we're in Pennsylvania. Let's see. Location, Route 251 or 351, Beaver County, Raymond Robinson, Pennsylvania. In 1918, 8-year-old Raymond Robinson was electrocuted while climbing an electric pole in an effort to reach the bird's nest. Though he survived the shock from tens of thousands of volts of electricity, Robinson was left badly disfigured, losing his eyes, nose, right arm, and because of his appearance, Robinson kept himself to himself and often only left his house at night. When he would go for long walks and cover the roads in darkness during the nighttime strolls, Robinson became a known figure to locals, but while most were friendly, he was a victim of precaution by others. Remarkably, he continued the sightless walk in the moonlight despite being hit by vehicles on the more than one occasion. Robinson was a familiar figure for decades, walking the well into his old age. Though the real Robinson was a victim of a terrible accident, simply wished to live a peaceful life, at his family home, he became famous, and the lore of an urban legend was born: sinister and terrifying Green Man. According to the legend, Robinson's skin had turned green by the surge of electricity. Disfigurement of the reclusive man and Green Man took refuge in an abandoned house. Emerging after dark, endlessly walked the roads of Pennsylvania. Known to some as Charlie No Face, Robinson became a modern boogeyman story told to frighten children. It was believed that green skin could chase them if they encountered him. In fact, Robinson was a gentleman who walked by night simply to avoid the stares of locals. Many who became friends through though Robinson died in 1985, to this day, the untrue legend of the Green Man still persists in Pennsylvania. I'm going to show his face. It is scary. Oh, man. Poor guy. But, yikes. So that's a cool legend. There are a few more, but I figured I'd actually read. We'll do this again. I'll go to Vermont and Delaware and Washington maybe tomorrow. But I wanted to read some Bigfoot stories out of this just because I had to pose a question. Now, with the disclosure of UFOs and aliens, maybe non-human intelligence, Bigfoot and aliens, and also apparitions or ghosts, shadow figures. What does this say if aliens and UFOs are real for the other parts of the paranormal? Does that elevate the possibility of them being an actual, real thing? I think it does. Let me know what you think. If UFOs and aliens are real, which is one of the more far out there crazy things, I believe that proves a little bit more that ghosts, even Bigfoot, cryptids, creatures like this, I mean, what's more believable? A bipedal creature walking through the woods, or an alien flying down in a spaceship, or even a shadow person or a ghost? So I'm just wanted to say that, and let's read a few cases that are actually in Virginia of Bigfoot encounters, and then I'll read a story called Mount Vernon Monster, which is another Bigfoot story. But Bedford County Bigfoot 2015. On September 9th, 2015 at 11:30, a woman prefers to remain anonymous driving along Route 43 just outside Bedford, Virginia, north towards peaks of otters and populated camping and hiking destination with a hotel and restaurant. Her headlights hit something through that she slowed down and realized that it was no deer crossing the street. She saw a Bigfoot and a baby Bigfoot. She estimated the adult to be about 6 to 7 feet tall from the hips down. That part of the headlight, from the hips down, her headlights caught the legs. The color, it was about the color of a deer. The adult Bigfoot put the baby down and looked over at some rocks. The baby Bigfoot was about 3 or 4 feet tall, furry, with brown nose and clear night, so no artificial lighting. The animals were standing next to a mailbox, so there was a gravel driveway and an overgrown field on the other side. The road was a house for sale, and the woman called 911 reporting the creatures. Deputies dispatched to the area but didn't find any evidence of Bigfoot. The woman said she went back to the location of her first encounter, the creatures, and she found 3 footprints, and they were about 36-inch strides. The witness stated that she knew the area and wanted to remain anonymous. She didn't know what her neighbors would think of her if she had said she'd seen Bigfoots. Here's another one from 2013, Warren County. On April 23, 2013, around 5:30 a.m., at daylight, slowly creeping up, an unnamed person at work saw a massive 8-foot-tall creature covered with dark brown and black hair about 20 feet in front of his car. The headlights along the early dawn light illuminating the creature. At this time, he said he was driving about 30 miles an hour. The creature was walking across the road, maybe 2 feet, and it was swinging its long arms. Several steps, it disappeared off into the woods, and he could not hear or see anything through the thick woods. Thus occurred on Reliance Road in Middletown, Virginia. Alright, 2007, Carroll County Bigfoot. On September 29, 2007, a 40-year-old man driving down State Highway 94 from Fry's, Virginia, to Interstate 81. The man was about 5 miles from Highway 94 coming down Youngblood Mountain. And above the entrance of the fishing hole called Cat Hole, there was a warm, foggy morning, and he went around the long curve, something standing on the side of the road about 75 yards away and closing in. It started crossing the 3-strand barbed wire fence and was put its hand on the fence and crossed over. The man said it was about 8 feet tall and had 4-inch long reddish-brown hair with no neck to speak of. Its arms were huge, just below its knees. Just kept walking, never looked at the man. When the man got about 20 yards away from it, he stopped on the road and watched it walk away and disappear into the morning fog. It was visible for about 2 minutes. Those don't have personal reports. I guess the people didn't want to tell their story, or have their name associated with it. But here's a cool story I read. 1978, Mount Vernon monster, all the way to 1979. In Mount Vernon, Fairfax County, Virginia, people in an upscale neighborhood heard something screaming in the woods for many nights. It was hard to describe the foreboding sound. For about 9 months, a strange creature wailed. 9 months. I have heard screaming in the woods, and I've heard weird noises in the woods. One of them's more than likely a barn owl, but maybe fox, stuff like that. People get confused, but every night it wailed in the woods about a mile from Mount Vernon, a historic home of George Washington. The elusive creature evaded capture by police. Fairfax County Game and Wildlife Wardens for the United Parks and police helicopters, infrared cameras, and other equipment was used whenever the creature it didn't intend to be caught. In all kinds of weather, freezing rain, fall, snow, summer nights, it screamed, echoed throughout the neighborhood. The residents were told by police very low key to keep this quiet about the monster. When asked about the monster, Mount Vernon area police refused to comment on the matter. Thelma Crisp, a neighborhood resident, said that she saw the Mount Vernon monster. She described it as being about 6 feet tall, hairy, and walking upright on 2 feet. It lumbered into the woods after being seen. The police told her not to discuss the sighting. Mount Vernon monster has not hurt anyone. It eats food that is placed in the woods by several residents. People are feeding it. And MP's military police came forward and said that the night of 1978, he had an encounter with this thing near the guardhouse in a densely wooded area. In 1979, a person from the neighborhood said he found a deer impaled on a 4-foot tall metal fence post not 50 yards from his house. The mystery of the Mount Vernon monster has never been solved. I believe they still see that one to this day. There is a little picture of him. But, yeah, serious question. If aliens and UFOs and all that, what do you think about this guy? What's the possibility of ghosts being more real? Because, I mean, if aliens are flying around, just let me know what you guys think. I hope you're enjoying some of these stories. I love them. Yeah, have a good one. Peace out.